The voice of the I Am is the mouthpiece through which the Ascended Master's instruction can reach the students quickly. That the most powerful work possible for America and the world may be done by the students to release the greatest light in the shortest time. It will also contain information as to where the accredited messengers, Mr. and Mrs. G. W. Ballard and son, Donald, are teaching the Ascended Master's instruction on the I Am. It's information. The information given under the heading of Young America will be the Ascended Master's help to the young people for their protection and illumination. As they are the builders of the new civilization and are the channels through which the Ascended Masters will give their light for the use of the outer world in the I Am age. This magazine is not an outlet for articles from the students, but is the outpouring of the help from the Ascended Masters and has no human concepts in it. The Sindelar Studios, Hoover, Los Angeles, California. NWR. Onward, Children of the Light. CARY. NWR, Children of the Light March in Latin.
Onward, children of the light. Onward, children of the light. March in glad array, evermore victorious, love's eternal way. Carry forth light's victory by thy heart's own love. Sweep all now before thee. The I Am presence prove. Onward, children of the light. March in glad array, always God victorious, love's eternal way. Onward, children of the light, love forevermore, thy own I Am presence, God's great open door. Come now through into its light and the unfed flame, worship at its altar, the blessed great I Am. Onward, children of the light, love forevermore. You are now the presence, God's great open door. Onward, children of the light, free, at last all free. Ascended in thy glory, great I Am to thee. God in all we worship, great, great central sun, pouring forth its blessings on earth to everyone. Onward, children of the light, now at last all free, bring love's golden glory, ambassadors from thee. Shanera. The above are the inner words of the melody of Onward, Christian Soldiers, which in reality is a true melody of the spheres.
St. Germain's Afternoon Discourse at the Kansas City Class, Sunday, September 27, 1936. Out of your search for light and truth, O beloved students, has come the true reality, the knowledge of that which every human being throughout the centuries has sought, the whereabouts of your own mighty I Am presence, the glory of God individualized. Today, in this transcendent knowledge that has come forth, all mankind may be free if they will. It only requires earnest, determined application of the simple, majestic laws which are given, and the acknowledgement in the feeling of your mighty presence that rests above you, to have freedom, dominion, and infinite achievement in your life. God, The mighty I Am presence is not only your source of life individually speaking, but is the source of all life in the universe. Therefore, as the messengers have said to you repeatedly, when you call your mighty I Am presence into action, the power of the universe rushes forward to fulfill your requirements, and it cannot fail, except through inharmony in your own feeling. Remember that in the acknowledgement
Will you not, O beloved ones, take your firm stand in the control of your human intellectual self and hold it in complete obedience to the great law of your presence, which is the activity of divine love?
Remember that in the acknowledgement of your presence and calling it into action, you have the balanced activity of love, wisdom, and power. Heretofore, in mankind's activity of prayer, individuals have recognized God in a vast mass. Majority of their prayers as an omnipresence somewhere, therefore only calling into action one point of the triangle of truth. Love alone without wisdom and power is not sufficient to cope with the condition that exists in the outer activity of the world today. Therefore, when you call your mighty I Am presence into action, you have fullness and balanced activity of love, wisdom, and power acting. That is why such tremendous results are produced in its use. Will you not, O precious ones of the light, rise in the full dominion of your mighty I Am presence, silence forever all human obstruction, and receive the glory which it will bring you? It requires on your part firm determination at first to dissolve the old momentum, accumulations of discord, which rests in the atmosphere around you and of which you are wholly unaware. But if you will continue to call your presence into action with firm determination, feeling sincerely that it is there, then the time is so short until you will have ample proof within your own experience of the power which your presence wields. The law of life, the law of your being, is that being the creator of the inharmony and discord that is in your world. You must make the call to your own I Am presence, your own individualized presence of God, your Christ self, to release a greater volume of energy and light to dissolve that which you, the individual, have drawn about you in your ignorance. Until individuals will use the violet consuming flame to dissolve the discord which they have drawn about them, they cannot have permanent progress or expansion of their own light. In the outer world, if you moved into a house filled with all kinds of bric-a-brac and furniture, and you had beautiful new modern furniture, how would you put the new furniture in until you cleaned out the old? So it is today in the accumulation of discordant, destructive thought and feeling with which you have filled your world. Then there is only one means of permanent activity to clean it out, and that is the use of the violet consuming flame to set you free. It will act with great power if you will feel the presence is passing that violet flame through your flesh, your feeling, and your mental bodies. It will quickly dissolve and dispose of your discordant accumulation so that you will never have to look upon it. Never desire, O beloved ones of the light, to look upon your human creation, I plead with you. God help you if you do. With the use of the mighty violet consuming flame, you will never have to do that. One glimpse of your own creation, and you would never wish another. So I say to you, the infinite power of the cosmic light has made it possible for me to bring to you this simple, transcendent, majestic understanding and application which is your freedom, if you will apply it. We in the ascended state have made dynamically this same application, this same understanding of the I Am presence, which I have brought forth to you. If you do not believe it, then I cannot help you, but if you do, then your freedom is here. In this class, as we have indicated, there has been another activity released for the students. By the power of the unfed flame, it has been possible to charge the atmosphere of the class room as the messenger has described to you today. The activity is similar to that which it was Mr. Rayborn's privilege to experience in preparation for his ascension. It is less powerful, but still the same activity, because in a classroom of the outer world, it would not be wise to bring the same intensity as was in the chamber of light, which has been protected for centuries from the discord of the outer world. Will you not accept this as the messenger has suggested, with its full active power released in your life and world, to produce your happiness, your supply of all that is required, your mighty directing intelligence, that you may go forward in a great, great calm serenity, no longer agitated or disturbed, so that the feeling body becomes adjusted, making possible a condition which enables these great currents of energy to flow through uninterrupted? Will you not do this? After so many hundreds of centuries, this great truth has been brought forth to you. Will you not accept it and apply it in your life with earnest determination, which is the activity of the inner will to have your eternal freedom? Could you, and you shall one day, know how great is the love of the ascended masters and the messengers for you, how great is the determination of the ascended masters and the messengers for you to have your freedom? Will you not be as determined, as earnest as they are for your own freedom? Only in years to come will you know the service that has been rendered your city during this class. Will you not accept it as an active part in your life, so you may be a part of that service? 6. I congratulate the beloved students of the light who have called their mighty I Am presence into action, which has made it possible for them to be in this class. Each class will contain henceforth a mighty divine activity for the blessing of the students. I personally thank all the students for their labor, their determination to have the perfection of the light of the presence that beats their hearts. They shall have it if they will stand steadfast. I want to offer one word of suggestion which I have never done in any class before. Beloved students of the light, always give praise, thanks, and gratitude for whatever has led you up to this step, the knowledge of the presence, but I plead with you, do not hold on to the steps that have brought you here. For if you constantly refer to those steps in your feeling, you will find yourselves going up and down, up and down, up and down those steps. I'm sure you get my meaning. When you have ascended those steps, it is not necessary to retrace them. If you do, you will find yourselves still in the old activity of the steps which brought you to this point. Watch out for that. Our beloved brother Jesus has asked that all adhere 100% to the teachings of the I Am and the instruction and application, by which we all have attained our freedom and ascension. Will you not do the same? It is infallible, and if it is not operating to your full desire, it is because unknowingly you have obstruction in your feeling. If you will ask the mighty I Am presence to take out of you whatever the cause and effect of the obstruction is, and replace it by the ascended Master's understanding, courage, strength, and application, then you will be able to let the presence release the energy to accomplish any purpose unto which you direct it. O beloved ones, in the fullness of my heart's love, I enfold you and carry forth to you the love and enfolding blessings of all the ascended masters and legions of light unto whom you have been calling. Feel its radiance enfold you, its courage and strength sustaining you, carrying you forward until you feel that full dominant I Am and power within your own feeling world, of the dominion of your mighty I Am presence, your authority and ability to call its limitless intelligence and power into action. Remember, as a parting word, you are the authority in your world to call perfection into your world, which alone rests in your mighty I Am presence, and the freedom of you and your world depends upon your call to your mighty I Am presence. Again, may I say to you, my love and blessing, together with that of the Ascended Masters and Legion of Light, enfold you forever, unto your full victory and ascension. Affirmation. Mighty I Am presence. Take possession of my entire being and world, and see that nothing less than ascended master qualities ever pour through or contact me, mine, and our world. 8. Saint Germain's Evening Discourse to the Kansas City Class. S.E.P. Tem. B. Beloved students of the light, the glory of your freedom stands before you, a wide open door, into which you may enter fully and completely at any time now in the knowledge of your mighty I Am presence. It is not a difficult activity. The law, the application, the knowledge of the presence is before you. Your part is to accept that your presence is there, in your feeling, then to call its mighty currents of intelligent energy into action, to produce the perfection you wish to have manifest in your world. You alone must do this. Assistance can and is rendered you. But you must take the initial step. Make your application. Refuse acceptance of human appearances as having any power longer in your world. And then, as you call this mighty energy into action, you will find courage and confidence without limit, sustaining your application, until the day when you have all the evidence you require to satisfy you that your presence, through your application, will and does set your world into divine order. This everyone must prove for himself to make it a permanent activity in his being and world. You, who have had one or more of these classes, must have come to know the great and mighty reality which this knowledge is. The great cosmic law has now permitted it to go forth, but until recently it has only been given to a few students within the retreats. Now, because of the assistance of the great cosmic law, it is almost broadcast to humanity and ere long will be. I want to thank any or all of the 1 a.m. students who have been instrumental in bringing about the opportunities for the messenger to broadcast this mighty truth. I want to say to those beloved ones, you have rendered a service and little realize as yet what it means. One day you shall, for this activity is bound to come forth. One day the messengers will have their own broadcasting station to spread this mighty truth to the world. I want you to know this and call your mighty I Am presence into action to bring it about, for it is another service you can render of inestimable value. In this class, you have been clothed in an activity which is a mighty sustaining power. Will you not accept it in the fullness of its power? Not in the intellect, but in the feeling of this great and mighty reality. It has been a great pleasure to render this service for your city and to stop an activity that was fast throwing a lethargy over its inhabitants. So, today, the great law has again manifested its dominion and will continue to expand this light. We rejoice with you in our humble efforts to render this service, for it has been done in its fullness. We want you to hold the knowledge of this before your attention, so you too may be conscious that naught in the world can longer delay your freedom and the expansion of the light unto your complete victory of the ascension. Does that word sound unusual? Does it still sound strange to you? It should not, an activity so practical, so majestic in its freedom. Think of it, dear hearts, your privilege to free yourselves forever from all pilgrimage upon earth, from its limitations, from its binding chains, from its terrifying distress which so many of mankind have drawn upon themselves. The pity is that individuals should have forgotten their source so completely, But again, let us replace that thought by rejoicing that they have found their way home. As persons lost in a forest, the wilderness of human concepts, they can find the golden pathway of life standing open and clear before them, unto the fullness of the mighty presence and its freedom. We thank you each and all for your love to us, for your love to the messengers, to the great host of ascended masters and the legion of light, the mighty angelic host, the gods of the mountains, the great cosmic messengers, and the great cosmic beings, who are making it possible for Earth to again shake itself free from the lethargy of human discord, from the hypnotic influence of human concepts that sees only imperfection instead of the perfection which beats each human heart. The privilege, the blessing is yours, O beloved ones. You have your scepter of dominion in your hand. Wield it in the acceptance of your presence to your complete freedom. No one can take the initiative for you. The law stands before you for your application. If you will apply it, I can guarantee that every human being on the face of the earth who applies it earnestly will be free forever from the chains of earth and remain so, but it requires your application. Never doubt it. So tonight, once again, we leave our love and blessing enfolding each one of you. The ascended masters, the legion of light, and the messengers enfold you forever in that transcendent light which knows only the continual expanding of itself, lifting you into the eternal freedom of your electronic presence. It is no imaginary thing, O precious ones, but a glory unspeakable, indescribable. It is yours. Will you accept it and be free again? Our love enfolds you forever unto your ascension. We thank you. Affirmation. Mighty I Am Presence, great host of ascended masters, mighty legion of light, great angelic host, and that special group of masters directly concerned with this activity of the mighty I Am Presence. Release whatever power and love are required and give us our own radio broadcasting station in a world hookup and see that we broadcast this ascended master instruction of the I Am throughout the world daily for the freedom and ascension of all mankind forever. We charge this decree with Saint Germain's, Jesus Nada's, and the Divine Director's ascended master consciousness and instantaneous fulfillment eternally sustained. Thanksgiving is supreme outpouring.
O beloved of the light, you who have come under the radiation of Saint Germain and those other ascended masters who are pouring out their great love, light, and freedom to humanity through this activity, you shall have the fullest supply of every good thing. We decree it now and have always done so in this work. Saint Germain said from the beginning that no one under this radiation who made sincere, determined call to the mighty I Am presence and worked to correct his own human discord in thought, feeling, and spoken word should lack for any good thing.
Light and freedom to humanity through this activity, you shall have the fullest supply of every good thing. We decree it now and have always done so in this work. Saint Germain said from the beginning that no one under this radiation who made sincere, determined call to the mighty I Am presence and worked to correct his own human discord in thought, feeling, and spoken word should lack for any good thing. He wants you and all mankind to have the fullest possible supply of every good thing required to make your life and activity harmonious, joyous, easy, and perfect. That is the law of life, of the ascended masters, and of every enlightened being who ever lived on this planet or any other throughout infinity. That is why every day should be a Thanksgiving Day for every human being on earth forever. Gratitude to life for all it is and gives keeps the door wide open for its supreme outpouring to come into the individual's five's use. Gratitude is harmonious feeling and brings back limitless supply to the sender. God is no pauper. Poverty is not spirituality. Lack does not produce harmony. Lack of any good thing is a constant reminder to the human personality that it has depended on its own human effort or on some outer channel of activity as the sustainer of the body, and that it must harmonize the feelings. God, the mighty I Am presence, created the body from inside of itself and is constantly supplying its energy and intelligence from within. The presence is also quite capable of supplying it with everything else, if the student will call to his I Am presence first for everything, before he looks to the outer channels for his supply. Saint Germain has given us the Ascended Master's golden key for the limitless supply, on demand, of every good thing everyone desires. If each one will make the call to the mighty I Am presence as Saint Germain and these other blessed Ascended Masters have instructed. No matter what the individual requires for his own use, the first condition on which he receives it from the Supreme Source of all is that he calls it forth into use not only for himself, but for every individual on this earth as well.
When one calls the mighty I Am presence into action to release a specific blessing to every individual on earth, and there are approximately 3.5 billions in embodiment all the time. The quantity of energy released in such a call would equal that which the individual released by calling 3.5 billion times for that blessing to himself.
And there are approximately 3.5 billions in embodiment all the time. The quantity of energy released in such a call would equal that which the individual releases by calling 3.5 billion times for that blessing to himself. To release. No matter what the individual requires for his own use, the first condition on which he receives it from the Supreme Source of all is that he calls it forth into use not only for himself, but for every individual on this earth as well. To release a specific blessing to every individual on earth. And there are approximately 3.5 billions in embodiment all the time. The quantity of energy released in such a call would equal that which the individual releases by calling 3.5 billion times for that blessing to himself. This is what the Ascended Masters mean by the tremendous power of cooperative action. The student, if he understands the Ascended Master application of the I Am presence, does not need to repeat affirmations, parrot-like, to convince his feelings that the manifestation he desires will come forth. Instead, by one call, with intense feeling, to his mighty I Am presence, to release what he desires into his own use and then expand it to the use of all, he accomplishes infinitely more in that call to his presence than could possibly be done in any other way. This is the great secret. It is the open door to the limitless use of every good thing on demand. The way is so simple, so easy, so all-powerful that anyone can prove this mighty law to himself at any moment he makes the call to his I Am presence. For instance, suppose one needs to pay some particular bill very much. He can say to his mighty I Am presence with intense feeling, which everyone can generate consciously. And at will, mighty I Am presence. Through the cosmic activity of thy great, quenchless flame of divine love, come forth. Pay this bill for me today through divine love. See that every bill on this earth is paid likewise for the freedom of all mankind. Send this decree forth with deep, sincere feeling and the desire for every other person on this planet to have his bills paid as well as your own. Thus, you can use every need of your own as a reminder to do a service for all human beings, which will bring joy, ease, blessing, and perfection to every other person on this earth, bringing you also your complete freedom in every way. This is the way the individual frees himself, and in calling forth an action of the great law of the mighty I Am Presence to bless and free others, it is impossible for the individual not to gain his own freedom. The understanding of this, as a law, has not been given before to the outer activity of mankind. Until this ascended master instruction of the mighty I Am Presence was given forth by Saint Germain and the proof of the mighty truth, which it is, stands before everyone in his own individual personal experience who has made that call with the intense desire to set all mankind free. N.O.T. If you do not believe this, offer someone money to consciously arouse a definite feeling of some special quality, and you will see how quickly that one can do it. If one can arouse it for a little piece of paper, he can arouse it for the blessing of himself and all mankind when he understands this law. Actors and actresses do it. They have no trouble feeling the quality they wish to portray. So can all who sincerely desire to do it. It is impossible for any human being to fail when he calls the mighty I Am Presence into action for the freedom of all. It is impossible for any human being on earth to have his own bills remain unpaid. If he will call with all the intense feeling of his heart every time he pays his bills, for the mighty I Am Presence to pay the bills for all the rest of mankind as well, no one could possibly lack for so much as a meal of food. If he would call forth the cosmic activity of divine love from his mighty I Am Presence, to give him every meal he desires, and at the same time ask that all individuals on earth be given meals equally as good as he is asking for himself, or better, if they desire them, and that they always give God, the mighty I Am Presence, the credit for giving those meals to them. Remember, the action of the great law of life is that 75% of everything the individual creates, including the energy required to bring forth into manifestation, remains within the brain, body, and aura of its creator, be it good, bad, or indifferent. Therefore, one is always the greatest beneficiary of all blessings sent out to the rest of mankind, and also the greatest sufferer from discord sent out to others as well. No matter what we create, 3/4 of our creation always remains within our own auras and worlds. That is because everyone's thoughts, feelings, and acts revolve principally around himself. When he comes into this ascended master understanding of the mighty I Am Presence and releases its limitless power and blessings for the freedom of all mankind, it automatically follows that he himself must become free. For the greater part of his mighty I. 18. I Am Presence acts through the individualization of himself. The same thing is true of the physical sun, or the great central sun. 3/4 of its presence, intelligence, power, and activity is located within its own form and substance, and only 1/4 of its life energy goes out as radiation into the rest of the universe. The same is true of a candle flame. Therefore, the students of the I Am under this radiation, knowing this, can easily realize how they can use every requirement and problem of their own as a reminder to call the mighty I Am Presence into action to fulfill those requirements for all mankind, to solve those problems for all. Hence, the student automatically becomes free himself in giving this tremendous service to the many. Understanding this, you can realize that you are no longer human beings, but you are divine beings. The divine gives, the human receives. If the human is to manifest the perfection of the divine, it must become a being of cause only, and that cause the conscious expanding of all the blessings and perfection from the individual's own mighty I Am presence for the freedom of all. Thus, in using the affirmations which call forth the power of the mighty I Am presence to help all mankind make the ascension, the individual who makes that call must automatically make his own ascension. Oh, beloved ones, do you realize what it means to work with intense sincerity and deep feeling for the freedom of all? It is the greatest joy and privilege of all lives to have had released. 1:9. To us, the Ascended Masters. Understanding of the mighty I Am presence, which gives us the power to render this assistance. Never before in the experience of mankind has such power and assistance come forth for the freedom of all the earth. Never before in the history of the planet have great numbers of individuals, with the Ascended Master's conscious understanding of the great creative word, I Am, ever sent forth such powerful decrees with such great determination for the freedom, illumination, and ascension of all. In this combined dynamic call, for mankind's freedom and ascension coming from the hearts of unascended beings, the great cosmic law of the mighty I Am presence and Ascended Masters is compelled to give everyone making that call his own individual freedom and ascension also. That is the privilege and obligation of every student who has come under this radiation. May everyone work with all his might, that the Ascended Master's perfection may fill the earth and all mankind know their same great freedom and joy through the power of the great quenchless flame of their pure divine love and eternal unfed light. Let all remember to charge every day with the supreme outpouring of every good thing forever from the mighty I Am presence and great host of Ascended Masters, and send it forth for the freedom and blessing of all. Then every day will be a Thanksgiving day for the whole of mankind, and the earth and all shall have the supreme outpouring intended for them from the beginning. Mr. Ballard's Invocation, San Francisco, Friday evening, August 28, 1936. And the fullness of thy great presence, O mighty I Am, again in deepest humble gratitude do we offer our thanks and praise for the service rendered this afternoon. Noon. It means the freedom of mankind and the earth. We give praise and thanks that one day all mankind will come to know this also. As the great law is released to do its perfect work in the earth, so will the consciousness of all be lifted until the glory of that radiance clears both sight and hearing for all mankind. Then in the glory of thy great victory, O mighty I Am presence, shall all hear thy words and see thee face to face, until all the earth becomes filled with thy love and harmony, beauty and perfection, thus fulfilling the great cosmic pictures shown at the Royal Teton. They shall come quickly into that great activity which is destined for the earth. There is but one destiny for everything, mankind included, and that is perfection. We do accept the fullness of that great outpouring tonight, glorified and amplified by the great host of Ascended Masters and Legion of Light, to stand forever increasing its activity in the fullness of its mission, perfecting the earth. Beloved Saint Germain, mighty divine director, beloved Master, Jesus, Nada, Leto, Chananda, beloved Lanto, and all the great Ascended Masters who are ministering to the people of earth. This day, as all have seen the mighty service rendered, so do we again bow before thee and thy mighty wisdom in action with deepest gratitude. May I speak for all the students of the mighty I Am presence throughout the world, speak forth their gratitude and love to that great intelligence who rendered this mighty service to the earth. So in great humility do I offer the love of these students everywhere, to be amplified by thee, to create greater and greater perfection within and above the earth for all mankind. 2-2. Mrs. Rayborn's assistance to two who sang. This is one of the unusual things that has occurred. Mrs. Rayborn wishes me to say to these blessed ones that she has found qualities within their voices, which, if they care to give attention to her, she will endeavor to assist them in making their voices such as are never to be forgotten. Mrs. Nada Rayborn is the one referred to in The Magic Presence, who sang in opera for many years before her ascension. Once, since her ascension, she came and sang in the tangible form. I rejoice with these dear ones that they are two whom she can assist if they can realize, as I do, what that means. It means freedom and the gift of perfect voice to these beloved ones. I wonder if you realize how these great ascended beings have for many centuries watched the earth, searching for those whose attention could be drawn to them, that they might give assistance. Without your attention to them, nothing can be done for you. It is not possible. But through your attention, directed to a given objective, anything upon the face of the earth can be done. Your attention directed to your mighty I Am presence first, and then to one or more of these great ascended masters, either masculine or feminine, makes it possible for them to come back to you on a ray of light, releasing energy and feeling that it is not possible for the human to release without their assistance. There is nothing you can ask, dear hearts, that the presence will not do, and anyone knowing the presence certainly could not ask anything discordant. Will you not, beloved ones, call your presence into action with great determination, great earnestness and sincerity to produce any quality, any condition, any perfection that you want to have manifest in your world? Affirmation. Mighty I Am presence and great host of ascended masters. Make every city in America an alabaster city of light, love, healing, and perfection for the illumination of America and the whole earth forever. 2. 4. Evening Talk at the Shrine Auditorium. July 6, 1936, by Donald Ballard. Here are two things which I want to touch upon. The first is something which has occurred to me, and, I believe, occurs to everyone who has been brought up according to the modern scientific explanation of the outer world's activities. The second thing is something of great national import. That of 25. Which I am going to speak is something that occurs to the young people particularly, and others, who have had contact with the modern scientific world. It is concerning the ascended master's ability to come and go great distances quickly, and to make their bodies pass through solid substance. We know that all the apparent miracles, such as the ascended host and those nearly ascended produce, are only the operation of great natural laws. For instance, when an ascended master passes through physical substance, solid walls, or transports his body 8 or 10,000 miles within 5 minutes, we know these things are not miracles. There is no such thing as a miracle. When properly understood, we see that so-called miracles are only produced by the use of certain laws which, as yet, are far beyond what the physical scientist has contacted. Nevertheless, they are as exact and immutable as the laws which govern wireless transmission and X-ray. Let us consider what happens when the ascended master's body passes through physical substance. To understand this, let us look at its structure. We know all physical substance is composed of minute particles called atoms. These particles are so small, 1 million or more may be present in one pinhead, and yet, infinitesimal as they are, they in turn are composed of particles yet smaller. These particles are arranged in patterns similar to the way our planets are arranged around our physical sun. At this point, we shall depart from the theories of the outer scientific world in our examination of the structure of physical substance. Here again, the ascended masters upset theory and guess. Work with their infallible knowledge of the great laws of nature. Contrary to the general opinion, the central nucleus of the atom is composed of a very light, refined type of particle, which is called the electron. Around this nucleus, arranged like the planets around the sun, are particles of a very dense nature, which as yet have not been named. These dense particles are many times heavier than the electrons, which are the nucleus of the atom and are what composes the denseness of our physical bodies. They are that which makes all physical substance seem dense. These tiny particles are separated by a tremendous distance in relation to their own size, so we see physical substance is not dense at all, but only seems so because our senses are amazingly crude. We know that the ascended master's body is composed only of electrons, or less dense particles of which the structure of physical substance is made. Therefore, we see how a body composed of this refined substance may pass unobstructed through physical objects. For the sake of a crude expression, the clearance between the particles which compose this substance of the ascended master's body and that of the atomic structure of physical objects is so great that one may pass through the other without any obstruction whatever. Then we can see what happens to our bodies at the time we make our ascension. The dense particles, which compose the weight of physical substance, are thrown off, and we are given a body of these electrons which are infinitely finer and more flexible and much more desirable as a vehicle in which we may operate. Another example of how crude our senses are, and how physical substance is not dense as it seems, is the fact that mercury, which is considered one of the most dense of substances, and the only metal which occurs in liquid form at ordinary temperature, will flow through bank vault steel like water through a sieve at a pressure of 100,000 pounds per square inch. Another thing which we may explain, so that it takes away all sense of miracles, is the use and the effect of the light rays. It matters not what their color or activity may be, they set up wave impulses akin to those sent out from the radio transmitter or the X-ray tube. We can and do set up these impulses in the octave of the vibratory spectrum, of a frequency very little higher than that which the scientist has contacted so far. I say very little higher because already in the laboratories of some of our great scientific corporations today, there are machines which are capable of recording these impulses, and we get a definite physical effect. A few years ago, this was infinitely beyond anything science had contacted. To understand exactly what happens, let us look at what we know today as the vibratory spectrum. From 3.2 vibrations per second to approximately 18,000, we have audible sound, that is, sound which we are able to hear with our ears. As the frequency of vibration is increased, we pass on through conventional radio waves into the infrared or heat waves. From there, we pass through a comparatively small portion of the spectrum in which we see visible light. As we pass on beyond the point of visible light. 28. In the spectrum, we contact the ultraviolet, the X-ray, the gamma rays of radium, and still higher into the cosmic ray, which is the fastest vibratory frequency that science has recorded so far. However, slightly above and beyond this is a part of the vibratory spectrum in which we set up impulses by our thought, feeling, spoken word, and visualization of light rays. Therefore, we see that when we send the blue rays of divine love forth to consume the undesirable substance in a sick person's body, we, through sufficient calling to our I Am presence, are releasing the power to set up a wave of energy or rate of vibration that goes forth and accomplishes that result. for it is just as effective in consuming an undesirable substance in the body as the ultraviolet ray is when used in certain conditions by the medical profession to consume undesirable substances within the body. When we use these activities, and when the ascended masters produce so-called miracles, it is only the operation of great cosmic laws that create and control vibratory action, extended far beyond anything of which the scientific world has as yet dreamed. Therefore, we also see that the time is close at hand when outer physical scientists, through their own experiments, will be compelled to admit every word which Saint Germain and others of the ascended host have spoken to these students of the I Am. We see concretely how this shall take place. We see concretely the necessity for controlling thought and feeling, for every moment we are sending out these impulses, and whether perfection or imperfection manifests in our lives depends upon how many of these impulses are constructive and how many are destructive. All of you know that the present hour is a time of such great importance and such great national crisis that it ranks with the winning of our independence and the removal from the face of the planet of the last trace of barbaric slavery. We are now in the midst of proving that the light of God never fails. Shortly, we will be again called upon to select those who are to sit in the chairs of authority in our government for another 4 years. When the officials of our government were selected the last time, there was not this great group of 200,000 students of the I Am throughout the country who could give assistance to the ascended host in selecting those who would serve the light. Let us go forth and use that power, that scepter of authority which is in our hands now, and call the mighty I Am presence into action to select those who serve the light of God that never fails, Saint Germain and the ascended host, to guide the destiny of our government. We students of the I Am have seen the effect in our national affairs and those of the world of the use of our scepter of authority, backed by the light of God that never fails, in wiping out many destructive claws of the sinister force. The ascended host designed our original form of government for America and brought it into manifestation. We, the students of light, have the power to wipe forever from our borders every claw of the sinister force. Let every one of us call now unto Saint Germain and the ascended host to manifest their divine selection of those who are to sit in 3-0. The chairs of authority in our government. As they take office and pledge themselves to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, let us give assistance by seeing them armored within that great sphere of the blue lightning of divine love, so that they may be forever sensitive to the commands of the ascended host and non-recordant to all discordant suggestion and activity. Let us put such an armor of light around them that they are impenetrable to any attacks of the sinister force. Thus, we have the greatest opportunity before us that any group of citizens the United States has ever had, to bring into manifestation quickly a golden age such as has never been known in the history of the world. Let us do this with all the power and love of our hearts. In gratitude, let us render this service to Saint Germain and those others of the ascended host who have seen fit to release unto us a knowledge and blessing that will bring into our lives such happiness as is beyond the comprehension of the mass of humanity. Let us offer this as a prayer of gratitude to the ascended host. It is fitting that there should be some way through which we could offer gratitude to the ascended ones for the blessings we have received, rather than to be eternally asking for more. Not that we cannot ask for anything good that we desire, but from the love of our hearts, let us devote some of our time to giving gratitude to Saint Germain. I ask this, and I ask that we put our whole strength into bringing forth this perfection, which the ascended host have decreed shall come into outer manifestation within the borders of our America. 7 transcendent weeks. He, 7 most transcendent weeks of the whole year begin at Thanksgiving and continue until 2 weeks after New Year's. The importance of the outpour. Light and love at this time of the year from Jesus. All the ascended masters and hosts of light cannot be overestimated. For owing to the attention of mankind being focused upon Jesus at Christmas time, he and all who help humanity pour out an intense activity of light and love to illumine and bless all. The attention of the people being upon Jesus makes an opening or condition through which the ascended masters can give this great assistance, the people being receptive to his consciousness and outpouring because they are thinking about him. To all the I Am students who will give him special time and attention every day over this period, he will project his own individual rays of light and love to enfold them for their victory, freedom, and ascension. It will be of tremendous benefit to every student. If during this time, each one will visualize the luminous presence of Jesus or Saint Germain standing behind every physical body and watch it become absorbed into the ascended master's body of blazing white light. In holding this picture within the mind, the student creates a cup, so to speak, into which Jesus and the other ascended masters pour the actual substance of light. Charged with their ascended master consciousness, victory, and feeling of the ascension, this increases the vibratory action of both the mind and body of everyone for whom this is done, and qualifies them with the ascended master's light, love, peace, and victory for the freedom of all. Miracles and healings beyond all description always take place when this service is given, and we now ask all the students throughout America and the world to do this visualizing with the greatest feeling and intense sincerity of love, that Jesus and the other great ascended masters may give the greatest blessing possible to every human being now. This means permanent release from distress for all mankind. We ask all students under this radiation throughout the world to give their help and make the condition that will enable this cosmic blessing to come forth most powerfully now. The outpouring and radiation from Jesus, the great host of ascended masters, the legion of light, and the angelic host will increase steadily from Thanksgiving Day until the conclave at the Royal Teton is finished. This tremendous light and focus of ascended master power and consciousness is held at its intense activity until the middle of January and is absorbed throughout the balance of the year. We ask the students of the I Am throughout the world to pour out their most intense love, gratitude, and blessing to Jesus and all the ascended masters during these 7 transcendent weeks. Accept his and their great assistance, calling to their own mighty I Am presence to release to all mankind and the earth the greatest light and love that has ever come forth on earth with the power of 10,000 suns, and set all mankind free forever in the eternal victory of their ascension. Mr. Ballard speaking. Or, the first time in my entire experience, since Mr. Rayborn went into the sphere of light in the Cave of Symbols, have I ever seen this. The entire atmosphere above you, may I use the expression, is loaded with roses. I thought a few moments ago they must come forth into the physical, into tangibility, for it would only require a breath to release them into tangible physical form. That means tremendous things. The 3 colors which they use are white, pink, and blue. If you ever saw a blue rose as exquisite as these are, you would never in the world forget it. When Mr. Rayborn and I went into the Temple of Light, we first were conscious of the pure fragrance of roses. All at once, the roses became tangible and physical, lying on the floor, couches, and chairs, and remained afterwards. I want to tell you, if you will keep out all doubt, one day in these classes, that will take place, and the roses will descend, one for every student in the room. Thank you, mighty I Am presence. As this greater and greater intensity of the radiation comes forth, we may expect any wonderful manifestation. Not that we should look forward to it, but it is the law when we come to a certain point, for it comes into action and nothing in heaven or earth can stop it. Take your attention from it and do not look for the manifestation. I merely call your attention to it this morning because they were so near into visibility. I know this is one of the things planned for the future. It is planned for the students, and anybody having doubt concerning my experiences will know then they were real. LL study groups should, at every meet first, acknowledgement to the mighty I Am presence in its cosmic activity of the unfed flame, followed by giving an invocation. All should sing the adoration to Saint Germain, followed by giving a decree charging mankind everywhere with his ascended master understanding and use of the mighty I Am presence. Then sing one of the songs to America, giving a decree for her ascended master protection and perfection, eternally sustained. Call to the mighty I Am presence to charge all your decrees with Saint Germain's, Jesus, Nada's, and the Divine Director's ascended master consciousness, instantaneous fulfillment and activity eternally sustained. Then proceed with the study outline as in printed form. It is necessary that all the study groups follow the above request in order to enable the Divine Director to do certain things for America, the students, and mankind, which will release transcendent blessings for all. In all these study groups, try to help all to pour out intense devotion and gratitude to the presence and the ascended masters. Because in pouring out that love, it releases the student from his own discordant feelings and allows the blessings which the presence and the ascended masters wish to give to begin to act immediately in the life of the student. The purpose of all study groups under this radiation is to enable the students to pour out their devotion and love through giving the decrees that release the energy required to give protection to America and freedom to all mankind. At no time should anyone ever attempt to explain or elaborate upon the teachings in the books, for they are the words of the Ascended Master and are self-explanatory. All the student needs to do is to read the words. Be still and ask his own mighty I Am presence and Saint Germain, Jesus, or any of the Ascended Masters to illumine the student's consciousness with the Ascended Master's comprehension of what he wishes to know, and all will be made self-evidently clear. No unascended being can improve on the Ascended Master instruction, explanation, or words, and to attempt to do so is human conceit and nonsense. The Ascended Master consciousness is what the students and mankind need to use in all outer activities, and the only way to have it become dynamically active for the individual is for the student to call to his mighty I Am presence to charge him with Ascended Master consciousness in all he thinks, says, feels, and does. This is all he requires and will always bring illumination and freedom for all. Affirmation. Mighty I Am presence. Charge me with the Ascended Master's perfect disposition and eternal happiness. Young people of America, it is your duty, privilege, and prerogative to do the work that is imperative for the protection and perfection of our beloved America, your America. The safety and illumination of America is your problem. The building of the future of America is your problem. The protection and assistance to your companions is your problem, and because you are the builders of the new civilization, chant your call to the Elohim, who are the 7 great builders. They will help you. They will bring balance wherever you wish to build and work for the blessing of all. As you call to them to balance all activities of mankind, so will that call automatically bring balance within you and your world. Balance is mastery, and it is a threefold activity. The source is I Am. The consciousness containing perfect balance is the ascended master consciousness, and the achievement is manifesting perfection in all outer activity, which holds everything in perfect balance. Hence, perfection must be the result, the manifestation of perfection in form and action. Young America, strive for perfect balance in all you do. Then you are master of every person, place, condition, and thing you contact, and perfection is yours in all you attempt to do. We bless you, beloved young America, with the perfect balance of the 7 great Elohim of creation, and ask you to give the following decree daily. Mighty I Am Presence, great host of ascended masters, mighty legion of light, great angelic host, and great cosmic beings. Come forth in your cosmic activity of the unfed flame. Seize control of all the energy in the gas belts throughout the earth and turn it all into pure metallic gold. Let its radiation come through to purify the substance of earth and its atmosphere, all nature and the bodies of mankind. Let all be filled now with that pure energy and bring your perfect balance into all outer activity of mankind and the earth forever. It's affirmations. Mighty I Am Presence and great host of ascended masters. Charge the singing and speaking voices of all the I Am students throughout the world with the ascended master's golden voice of the mighty I Am Presence, and keep it forever sustained in full glory. Mighty I Am Presence and great host of ascended masters, come forth in your cosmic authority and activity of the great quenchless flame of divine love. Claim every young person in America and the world into the service of the light of God that never fails, and hold them there forever. A marvelous decree for healing and happiness. Mighty I Am Presence and great host of ascended masters, seize possession of this entire condition and my feelings. Flood all concerning it with the sunshine of your love and light, in its cosmic activity of the quenchless flame, and drench us all and the earth with your eternal happiness forever. Our Christmas Shrine class in Los Angeles, California. It is St. Germain's request that we hold a special class at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, beginning Christmas Eve at 10:30 p.m. and continuing for 10 days. This will bring the class into activity during the most intense outpouring of the 7 transcendent weeks from Jesus, the Ascended Masters and great host of light. Through their mighty outpouring, he and these great ones will do for all mankind and the earth what cannot be done during the rest of the year, because the students can render limitless assistance. By making their call to the mighty I Am Presence for help. Illumination, freedom, victory, and the ascension for all mankind, St. Germain has requested that the class be held at Christmas time, and this mighty service rendered mankind and the earth for the ascension of all. If the students will give their assistance, miracles and blessings unbelievable will be released, tremendous protection given America and transcendent freedom come forth to bless humanity and the earth forever. We ask all the study groups to give their decrees from now on, to make this Christmas Shrine class a never-to-be-forgotten outpouring of the greatest light, love, and freedom to all mankind that has ever been experienced upon earth. To that end, we shall all work without limit with all the love, light, and power at our command to produce perfection for all the students, America, and the world. In the everlasting love and light of the great. I Am Reading Rooms of the St. Germain Teaching. Los Angeles, California, 7th and Olive Streets, Transamerica Building, Room 926, phone Van Dyke 8426. At the Hora.
In the everlasting love and light of the great Ascended Masters, we hold you all forever, lovingly, the Ballads.
At the Hora of the I Am in Philadelphia, the door will always be open with love to the students and their friends. San Diego, California, 6th and Broadway, Bank of America Building, room 314. Phone, Maine 1459. Seattle, Washington, 613 Orpheum Building. Pasadena, California, 301 Citizens Bank Building, Colorado and Marengo. Glendale, California, Masonic Temple, 6th floor, phone Kenwood 0052. Chicago.